Hey, everybody. Bonnie's praying for Sandy and Charles. What a journey they're about to go on. It's going to be a lot of fun for our shibboleth family to watch them go through this coaching. And I've told them if they'll stick with it 4 months, they'll drop 100 pounds. So 100 pounds each. So excited about helping them. They have ordered their 24-day jump start, and they'll be all systems go next Wednesday morning, 2 times a week. We will have them live and be coaching them in front of the community. And it will be somewhat gut-wrenching after we get through the initial. It's good stuff, though. Working on ourselves can be a challenge because I've been saying this, working on ourselves, that's what we need to be doing. We need to work on ourselves. And the way to work on ourselves, I've discovered, it's like I feel like I've struck gold in my own life. The way to work on ourselves is to quit working on ourselves. And that's the hardest thing to do. Angela, that's the hardest thing I've ever done, is to work on myself by stop working on myself and just letting God have his way. It's quite amazing. The energy and vitality starts coming back into you. It's kind of strange. No wonder he says in the good book that the wisdom of this world is foolishness to him, and vice versa, because you just wouldn't think that working on yourself would include not working on yourself. When I work on myself, I tend to make a mess of it. Letting him work on me, it's a whole different ball game. There's Sandy Gregg. We just were talking about you, sis. You getting ready, huh? Wednesday morning, your new life. Part of that is no thinking. Stop
Yes,
thinking.
sir.
Stop thinking. All right, everybody. This is our We Fixed It. We never know who's here. Everybody looks familiar, but I'll still go through my little monologue. My name's Travis Martin, lost more than 100 pounds on the program, come off all prescription medications. It's been a 20-year journey for me. Tens and tens of thousands of other people just like me have subscribed to the shibboleth lifestyle, have recorded millions of pounds being lost, millions of inches being lost. It's a practical, sustainable, fun lifestyle. Everything you need comes from your local grocery store. There's just the only downside to shibboleth is there is none. I mean, there just really is none. The downside is people want a quick fix. And I've never known a quicker fix than shibboleth. It's just you've got to decide, do, and it is done. Decide, do, and done. We are a faith-based program. We adhere to 4 pillars of wellness: faith, good nutritional practices. That includes everything, by the way. We proudly say, we don't just talk about whole foods. I have seen so many programs that focus on you need to eat organic and clean, and that's all good. I agree. We do that too. But then I've seen people backslide because nobody's teaching them how to replace those voids. So in the beginning, when you're beginning to detach from all those things that got you in trouble in the first place, your Cheez-Its and your cupcakes or whatever it is, we found void replacements for those that are lesser evils whereby we can control insulin. So we're adhering to faith, good nutritional practices for our culture, and then we have exercise. We like to see everybody start with walking, though it's not necessary to lose weight. You will never exercise enough to overcome bad dietary practices. But we do, as soon as you're ready, really suggest walking. There's no better fat burning exercise. If somebody, do you exercise? Yes. What do? I walk. And I guess to people, that's not sizzling, but there's nothing better for our demographic than to get those steps in every day while you're in a calorie deficit. and while you're controlling insulin. And then really very importantly is to take your multi-nutrient supplement, fill in those gaps, hard to see because of the virtual background. Peak performance is the recommendation. If you won't do peak, do metabolic nutrition system. You won't do M&S, then go to GNC and get you a good quality vitamin. But you need to fill in those nutrient deficiencies or your body's not going to operate the way it should. You won't be getting the most out of your effort. And something like peak performance has, it builds upon itself. It gets better with time, and you'll just feel the difference. And I'll tell you, they did a study, the deprivation study, and people don't realize how good they were feeling because it's slow building. They don't realize how great they were feeling until they're deprived of peak performance. And then all those wonderful effects that you were feeling, it's like, okay, now I know it worked because I feel terrible. And you need to consider peak performance or one that you feel very confident in. With that said, this is our We Fixed It class. This is where we look at our food formulas, our food calculator. When we have recipes to convert, we convert recipes for our members. We've got several today to look at, thankfully. Keep those recipes coming, post them in the members only group or in the We Fixed It group. And by doing that, Lisa will pull them, scrape them from the group, and I don't even look at them before class. Very confident that I can fix most recipes. So she'll put them in a PowerPoint, we'll come in here and we'll convert them. But the real beauty in that, in doing it as a class, is you get to see the mindset and philosophies at work so that you can begin to learn and do that for yourself. And I think that's really high value. This is a class that we provide to all partners and all Faithfully Fit members. We really are an undervalued program. It takes raising capital every week just to keep it going because support is so vital, and we couldn't do it without our partners and Faithfully Fit members. We do ask our lifetime members, if you don't want to be a partner and you're going to frequent this class, it costs $1 per month. We get a net out of that of 60 cents a month. But anything and everything to help these great people that's on my team to keep doing what they do. So without further ado, we'll get into it. Let me see if there's any comments so I don't miss anything. Travis, can you reduce the blood sugar spike after eating if you eat the protein and fat first, then the carbs last? Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you eat carbs first, and then your protein and fiber, you'll get a higher blood sugar spike. If you eat the protein and fiber first, that's a good advanced topic, Will. Dude, that was awesome. We need to really cover that. Haven't talked about that in years. But yeah, there's a prioritization. If you're really getting into the advanced stuff, certainly going on and putting the protein inside of you and the fiber inside you, how that would play out, everybody, so that you know. Now, again, we have people watching right now on Facebook. Let me say, understanding insulin control and how insulin works will change your life. Nobody's telling you. You're beginning to hear the buzzword about insulin. We call it the fat bus. When the fat bus is on the scene, the appetite goes up, fat storage takes place, efficient fat burning stops for up to 2 days. You're also destroying your mitochondrial health. In the presence of ingested fat, it's going to store very efficiently, especially if you eat it in a surplus when there's high levels of insulin. We're starting to hear that. I've been saying it for 20 years. So what happens is, so your blood sugar goes up, you eat that carb by itself, Will. So you eat the potato first, blood sugar is going up. Now, if I then eat the chicken and the broccoli, when I'm eating that, then that will start slowing it from that point forward. And bear with me, everybody. If I would have eaten the chicken and the broccoli first and then the potato, I'm going to get a lot lesser blood sugar spike. What that means is less insulin, less fat bus. What's the big deal, right? What's the big deal? One meal. when you spike insulin, it doesn't come down like blood sugar. For example, I'm now wearing a glucose monitor I don't need it. I'm doing it to prove the efficacy of our program. So on my blood glucose monitor this morning, I took berberine and Carbies at the same time, and my blood sugar immediately, it was high this morning, immediately come down. So a similar effect is with your fibrous carbohydrate. But just because the blood sugar comes down doesn't mean that the insulin comes down as rapidly. It tapers off slowly. It tapers off slowly. And it takes about 2 days of right eating to get it back normalized so that you can efficiently burn fat. But with our Bulletproof Shield, we teach you how to control that so that you understand where the line is and where you need to keep your insulin levels, so you're not just spiking them way up there and then doing a little something wrong every day after that. That's the problem. It's not the big spike. It's the preceding days where you do the little things that are off, and because it wasn't fully down yet, it's not all the way where it needs to be, and then you bump it up with a handful of Pringles. And it starts going down a little bit, then you bump it up with a 1 Reese cup. And you're just keeping high levels of growth hormone in your system because you're not following a system like ours, perfect day holiday. So hope that makes sense. Come go with us, watch the fast track videos, take test, pass test, earn the badge. All right, any other questions before we get into the recipes today?
Hey, Travis, it's Elizabeth.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Do you want to share where you got your CGM?
Yes, it's Signos. Yep.
SIGNOS?
Yeah, I'll show you the one I got. It seemed like the app was going to be the best app for me to do videos where I can inspire our community, and it's Signos.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So I've got like a receiver here on the desk, and there it is. Painless, and it's been fascinating to me. Y'all are gonna laugh at me, but it's been fascinating because I already knew what was gonna happen. I've been doing it for 20 years, but I will say there was a little tremble in me. What if I've been wrong about all this stuff? In actuality, the way I eat works better than I even thought it did at controlling blood sugar.
That's awesome.
The only problem with it, sincerely, is because I want to see what my blood sugar does, I'm eating stuff I shouldn't have been eating on my detox. So I just want to see what happens. So hopefully I won't gain any weight. All right, anybody else? Okay, so we're going to get into this now. Let me find it. As always, Lisa does a fantastic job. Let's do our We Fixed It class. Creamy spinach rice. Thank you, Sean Perkins, for being a part of our community. Let's see if you've already fixed it or if I can fix it. Ingredients. And let's make this an interactive class if you're not driving or at work. Good morning, Penny. We've got a bag of frozen riced cauliflower. What category is that?
Two.
Yeah, category 2, fibrous carb, insoluble, soluble fiber. That's gonna shut down the fat bus, right? It's gonna shut it down some. Also, that good fiber is gonna pull toxins out of your digestive tract. One of the reasons that, hey Gail, one of the reasons I don't subscribe to an all the time carnivore diet. Y'all are aware we have lion and shark days, and they're a lot of fun. They allow us to have, if we follow the rules for those, they allow us to have some of the full fat cheese and the fattier meats and stuff like that, bacon, sausage, if you follow lion and shark day rules. Those are fun, but the reason I don't, and you lose a lot of fat, you preserve muscle. The reason I don't subscribe to those is if you do that permanently, I believe you're going to ruin your gut health and you're not going to pull out the toxins the same. So things like cauliflower, they're our friend, especially if you don't have any allergies or autoimmune issues related to cauliflower. But when we're looking at the bag of cauliflower, what you're looking for in the ingredients panel is less is best. Hopefully it just says water and cauliflower and little else. Be careful with some of the stuff that you see in the supermarket that markets cauliflower, because if you look and it says it's got 8 grams of fat, that's not cauliflower in that bag. There might be cauliflower, but they've added a lot of fat. Just like meat, real meat doesn't have carbohydrate. Fibrous carb has almost, it'll have a little fat, but almost no fat. Does that make sense, what I just said there? Fresh is best, then frozen, then lastly canned. We've got frozen spinach. We'll follow the same rule for it. That's category 2. MCT oil has a little propensity to be stored as fat. If we were using olive oil here, it would, looking at this overall recipe, olive oil would work here. Let me pause here. Let's turn this into a little mini lesson. Does everybody see why I said you could use other oils other than MCT? Can anybody give me an example of why you could? I'm not saying it's optimal and I want you to do it, but what if it just had some vegetable oil or regular butter or whatever? Why would that be okay so far in this recipe? What's the logic?
Because there's no fat.
There, well, we would be adding fat. So you're right. The only fat that we would be adding would be some vegetable oil or olive oil. It's not the quality of oil. Those quality of oils aren't really good either. Watch this. This
carb.
There you go. Who said that?
Jerry.
You the prize winner. There's no carb, there's no fat bus coming here. So what we're trying to avoid, I'm so proud of you. Awesome. So what we're trying to avoid is long chain triglycerides, bad fats, coupled with anything that's going to spike the fat bus, because fat bus is a fat storage hormone. Does that make sense? But now we did better because we added MCT oil, right? Now we're going to be able to keep this real quality because that MCT oil has almost zero propensity to be stored as fat, even if I have like a snack afterwards that included some carbohydrate. You got minced garlic, fat-free cream cheese. You could even use reduced fat cream cheese here. You'd be fine. And a splash of fat-free chicken broth or beef stock. I guess fat-free chicken broth or fat-free chicken stock. All those ingredients are on point. You got a little protein in there, almost no carbohydrates, good fats. Saute it, got to check here, make sure there's nothing naughty in here. All this looks good to me. Everything is on point. Looks like a delicious little side item. So what I would have with this would be any lean protein. You could even have some other side item like squash or, something like that. But you've got a nice little recipe here that makes for a good side item. And that's what I would call it, Lisa, is a side item with any lean protein or any protein plus fat. So I'm going to ask you a redundant question. Could I have a steak with this, and why?
I'm going to say yes because it has virtually no fat.
You are right. And even an add-on answer that's a little more on point would be the steak has fat. I'm not adding, I didn't really add any other fat, so good job there. That's going to keep the calories lower because fat's so dense in calories. But again, there's no carbs. There's basically no carbohydrate. So I'm not having to worry about the storage of that steak fat. But good answer. So that's a good one. All right, next one.
Travis,
Yes.
before we go,
Okay.
couple of questions. You mentioned that the olive oil would be okay in this because there are no carbs.
Yeah.
If you had something that was a meal that was all ones and twos, let's say you had, I don't know, chicken and broccoli or something, but you decided you also wanted a salad with it. And if there were only cat twos in the salad, could you do an olive oil with that as part of as a dressing? Could you use the olive oil in your dressing, like a flavored olive oil instead of MCT?
Yep.
And what about if you do olive oil and balsamic vinegar? Now, what happens with the flavored balsamic vinegars? Are they bad or good, or stay away from them, or what?
They're good.
Okay, so as long as you use a small quantity and all that, you're okay.
yeah,
Just don't do it like with the baked potato and whatever. If you've got that, then don't do that, correct?
correct. Yeah.
Okay. One
Now,
other question.
where you're gonna get in trouble though is you have to, even though you're looking at combinations right, you have to look at your overall calories, because olive oil is 1 tablespoon. I believe it's 2 tablespoons. No, 1 or 2 tablespoons is 100 calories.
Right.
So if you put, without even realizing, you can put 4 tablespoons of that on the salad. And then just your salad alone goes over where you need to be from calorie standpoint. Then you throw on a steak or whatever you're having over 1,000 calories a meal. So that's why you got to be careful. And when you can, swap those oils.
Okay. Now, the other thing that I wanted to ask when you were talking about the cauliflower, one of the recipes that we use a good bit is a beef and tot casserole, which has cauliflower tots. And for some reason, Max can never find cauliflower tots when he goes to the grocery store. So I have to go back and get them. And the last time that I did that, and right where the cauliflower tots were, they also had zucchini tots.
Yeah.
And the zucchini tots, some of them had different flavors and stuff with them. But anyway, I decided to try the zucchini tots instead of the cauliflower tots just because of the flavor. And, they were good. But my question is, it seemed to me that they were 1-for-1 replacements, but are they? Are you familiar with the zucchini tots?
Yeah, the problem with them is the fat that's infused into them. So
Okay.
they're high calorie, high fat. So anytime you're having those tots, you have to look at your plate and assume there's a big old category 4 floating over it. So
Okay.
basically what that means is if you're having those tots, you can't have any category 3, any category 5, and you shouldn't have category 6.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So like a really good maintenance type meal, and y'all stay with me, let me give you a philosophy for a minute. A really good maintenance type strategy. Remember, we're doing this as a lifestyle, everyone. That's why Gail's been successful. This is our forever program. So you don't have to be losing weight at breakneck speed every day. So a maintenance strategy, you don't have to be in maintenance to employ a maintenance strategy. If you are having a day where you're really craving something and you understand that it's going to slow your results down, there's nothing wrong with having a meal like this. If I have a ribeye steak, say 6 to 8 ounces of ribeye, and then I have those tots that she's talking about, there's no 3 or 5 on the plate, and I dip them in ketchup, salt them, dip them in ketchup like a regular tater tot, I might really enjoy that meal. And it was on point because we use cauliflower or zucchini instead of real taters. So you're not going to get that profound insulin spike, even though your calories were high, and it's a good maintenance day. A maintenance day is equal to, if you know anything about football, it's equal to punting the football. You're not committing a turnover. And sometimes you just want some tater tots, but instead of using real taters, let me ask this too. Is there any time that I can use real tater tots?
With chicken or fish?
Good. It's kind of a trick question. So unless I have a way to shape them at home as a tater tot, I'm in trouble. So watch the trickery. If I buy a true tater tots at the grocery store, if I buy a real tater tot, it's full of LCT fat. So LCT is a category 4, right? A potato is a category 3. So you're dead in the water before you ever buy that product. Does that make sense? Now, if I want potatoes though, maybe I get simply potatoes and I fry them in MCT oil. There's in simply potatoes, if last I looked, it was just potatoes, straight potatoes. So I fry those in MCT oil, and now it's just a category 3. Don't look like a tater tot, but still tastes the same. Does that make sense?
Travis,
Uh-huh.
can you, with the MCT oil, can you put it in, like, can you roast a vegetable or can you air fry, or are you going to smoke up your house?
I sometimes have a problem cooking with MCT, but rarely do I. I've not had any problem with it smoking in the air fryer. If you put the oil in there and heat the oil up first, you're going to smoke the entire house up.
Okay,
If
but you actually can do it if you were
Yeah, I do
just
it all the time.
spraying.
Yeah, I pop
Ooh.
popcorn in MCT oil.
I do
Oh,
butternut squash in the oven with MCT. I
Yeah,
just be careful. I don't put a lot of MCT on it. I just put enough on it to keep it from sticking, and
yeah,
throw some cinnamon and salt and pepper in there with it, and
yeah.
then it
well,
does. I
y'all
mean,
just,
when I open the door, it might give me a little bit of smoke, but it's not going to set off the alarm.
Right. If you marinate your food beforehand, when I say marinate, roll it around in there and listen to it squeal, right? So when you marinate it in the oil while it's cool and it's in your pan before you heat it up, because the food's absorbed a lot of that MCT oil, you're not going to get that smoke effect unless you're burning your food. That's been my finding. Like I even pop popcorn in the stuff, never have a problem. But if I turn like a lot of people will, heat my oil up first, it's not going to pop. It's going to just smoke everywhere. But I'll put my kernels in there, and that's high heat, and I get just a little smoke before my popcorn's done. But generally speaking, it's fine.
well, thank you so much. I had no idea that we had that as an option. It opens a whole new world for my weekend.
Yep, yep. And when you're consuming MCT, you've got heat stable. Okay, that means that you're eating something safe. Now, a lot of people say it's not heat stable, it's got a low smoke point. The lower the smoke point of a fat, the more heat stable it is, meaning that heat does not it doesn't violate its integrity and make it harmful for you. That makes sense? These oils that have they're great for frying, like they have high smoke points. The higher the smoke point, generally speaking, the worse it is for the human body. Is that good? We did a class on that in the Partners in Your Partner or Faithfully Fit section, where we unpacked cooking fats and talked about all of them, from grapeseed to almond to walnut, all of them. Really, at home, there's just no excuse to not be cooking with MCT, ghee, or coconut oil. A lot of people will point to the saturated fats. I get it, but it's MCT. It's MCT, medium chain triglyceride. Anybody else? All right, so let's keep it going. We've got cabbage hash brown casserole. This one might be fun. Thank you, Robin Drury. Appreciate your contribution. We got one of my favorite things, cabbage. I will suggest that if you have any autoimmune issues, you might want to take a look at things like cabbage. I love it, but they're high in oxalates. If I start eating it too much, it took me years to figure out why my elbows would break out with those little itchy blisters. And it ended up being me eating too much cabbage, because I would eat cabbage every single day almost as a freebie. And it can get you in trouble. Plants don't like you eating too much of them, believe it or not. That's another lesson. But cabbage is a category 2. Onions, no problem. So category 3 are a condiment. Fat-free cream cheese, fat-free cream of chicken soup, fat-free sour cream, a bag of fat-free shredded cheddar. Let me pause here. A lot of people have been falsely led in the wrong direction about fat-free stuff. I agree. Most things that say fat-free are bad for you, because fat-free means loaded in sugar, but not necessarily with cream cheese, sour cream, or cheddar. It doesn't have hardly any sugar. So no worries there. Salt and pepper, we got melted ghee, a good swap. this could be omitted to save calories, but we've got ghee butter. So I got a 2, a condiment of onion. I got no problems here, and it looks delicious. Thinly sliced cabbage, just make sure nothing's sneaky. I would say it's getting harder to find fat-free cheese. You might want to look for LifeWise fat-free cheese. It's a hunk cheese. If you can't find that, you could use, because there's no carbohydrate here to speak of, you could use Sargento reduced fat cheese. So if you were having a hard time finding fat-free cheese, and didn't want to order LifeWise fat-free block cheese, you could use Sargento reduced fat here, but now we have to treat it like what category, everybody? A 4. Good job, Joy. So it's no longer a 2, it becomes a 4. Does that make sense why I come up with that? If I can find the fat-free stuff, then I can count it as a 2, and I'll be able to have a 3 or 5 with it if I wanted to. And you may think that this is complicated, but when you get used to it, it's not, and it'll save your life. It's not like you eat more than 30 different meal varieties in a month anyway. We just don't do that. We're pretty much creatures of habit. So it's finding what you like, fixing it, and watching the weight fall off. That's a really good recipe. We're looking at cabbage hash brown casserole. We are looking, it's mock. Boy, that looks good. It's mock. So with these fat-free items, and we used ghee, I would just call this a category 2. Yep. And you would be able to have it however you have category 2s. All right, Mexican style coleslaw by the amazing Charlotte Little. That looks good too. Okay, so we've got a couple. We got one we got to fix. Those others were fixed. Now we got to work. Now we're going to be put to work here. Y'all get ready, put your thinking cap on and help me here. So I'm going to go through the ingredients first to see if it's even worth it. We got mayo's a problem. Sour cream's a problem. Black beans, grilled or blackened corn. There's several ways we can go here. The problem with it right now, we've got fat and carbohydrate together. Does that make sense to everybody? There's fat and carbs together. So let's first, because we know fat is more flavorful than carbs. So let's take a look at how we can change out, instead of taking out fats, change out the fat. Do we have an approved mayo we could use? Yeah, we've got several approved mayos. We'd have to swap that. Shibboleth approved mayo. Fat-free sour cream, could we switch that out? Have fat-free sour cream? Yes. Taco seasoning, lime juice is no problem. Slaw mix is no problem. Red pepper's no problem. It does have a lot of grape tomatoes in it. It probably is going to feed like 4 people, so it's not really too bad. Grape tomatoes are either a category 3 or a condiment. So because I'm eliminating some of the fats up here, we're going to hold on to the tomatoes. Black beans is a category 6. Not too worried about that. 1.5 cups of grilled or blackened corn. So I'm thinking we're going to have to turn this into a 2+3. So the way to do that is to eliminate as much fat as we can. So I'm going to go back through it again. We eliminated the fat from the mayo, eliminated it from the sour cream. There's none in black beans virtually. There's none in corn, jalapeno. Okay, we got it. So we eliminated the fat. I had mentioned not taking fats out, but I think we're going to have to. We eliminated the fats, replaced the fats with something that tastes similar, approved mayo that's low fat, fat-free, hopefully, fat-free sour cream. We would count this recipe as a 2+3. And that means we can have any lean protein with it or any category 7 with it. You don't need to add anything else. Did that make sense? How y'all feeling about that one? It looks delicious, but we got to eliminate the fats. We can't eliminate the carbs because that would violate the whole recipe. This is a carby recipe, and we can have carbohydrate, but we have to eliminate the fats that can be easily stored, and we did that. Everybody satisfied?
I have a question, Travis. Just curious. Why do we treat the black beans like a fibrous carb instead of a superfood?
No, they're a superfood. So in having, I'm counting it as a 2 + 3, more to say, to indicate what you could have it with. I think the black beans, let's see, it doesn't say how many on here. I'm looking more at these black beans like a condiment, and it's because it's going to feed 4. So Gail says it's 1 can. So 1 can of black beans, and you're serving 4 people, that's a 1/4 of a can per serving. That's barely a condiment. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So really, I'm explaining it, not because it's a true 2 and a true 3, but more I would explain it so that people knew what they could have with it. And the black beans, it's just a condiments portion.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's why I'm not mentioning, like saying 2 + 3 + 6, because there's just not enough black beans there to have to call it a full category. It looks like it's really there just to garnish it, even though this is not the true image. I think this is interpreting what the recipe is supposed to look like. Does that make sense, everyone? Sometimes we'll put things in the library in a way just so the reader knows what they can have with it if they're looking at their combination chart. Again, the combinations, they work for whole foods. They don't work for recipes necessarily. So in other words, I could take this recipe and I could put it in my coaching software and say, I need to fix this recipe so that the protein is greater than the carbs and the fat is a certain point, and it would fix it for me. But we just did that manually because I believe that it helps us learn what we're trying to learn here, which is the avoidance of too much fat and too much carbs on the same plate.
But if we drop the corn, I mean, I know that it's all about a, Mexican bowl, but if we drop the corn, then everything would be, and cut out all the fats, of course, but then it would be okay, right? It would be, it would be really good.
Yeah, you made it much better by dropping that corn.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't want the corn, much better. Yeah. Now, somebody might be just wanting it because they want that corn. But if you drop the corn, you're much better off. Now we get very little blood sugar impact. The only thing causing blood sugar impact here with the swaps we've made, too much blood, you get a little bit from this, is the tomatoes, the beans, and the corn. So none of those by themselves are that bad. But when you put them all together, let's say that the tomatoes are 10 carbs, the black beans are 15 carbs, and the corn is 15 carbs. You just went over 30. I don't want anybody trying to lose weight to have more than 30 carbohydrate in one meal. It's just too much. And Gail said that would be good with some grilled shrimp. Absolutely. So if you can visualize on a plate, you got some grilled shrimp fitting under one hand, and then on the other side of the plate, you got this delicious recipe, Mexican style coleslaw. That's a good meal. And we burn in the fat. So what would happen if we just left it as it was? if I leave full fat mayo and full fat sour cream, have you ever looked at the calories on those two things? So you've got fat, easily stored fat, plus a lot of calories. We got to deal with that. And that's what we've done. Good one. Then we got, all right, Laurie has sent in, Laurie Allen, 2-ingredient pudding by Laurie Allen. Let's take a look. This is going to be easy. Thanks for an easy one. Protein shake. Any shibboleth approved protein shake, Lisa. Any shibboleth approved. GC control would be great here because of the appetite control you get with it, but any shibboleth approved protein shake, sugar-free pudding, and water. Nothing to that one. Done deal. All right. So let's see. We've got nothing here. Let me ask y'all this. What category is this pudding?
A 1.
Yep. It's the category 1 lean protein. Depending on what shake you use. Some shakes are just meal replacement shakes. But what you would be looking at here is you're going to have up to 200 calories of it as a snack. If you go over 200 calories, it's a meal. It's like a meal replacement shake at that point. So how I would have something like this if I was craving it, let's say for dinner, I've had chicken. Let me throw some ringers at. So if I had chicken and scallops cooked in MCT oil and seasoned with broccoli and ate that, as soon as I'm done eating that, could I have this as my approved snack? My dessert? Yep, no problem. Sure can. That's a good one. And that's it. That's all we got today. All right. Any questions, comments, anything? Are you learning anything? Hey, Annette. Question of the day, if you just tuned in, it come from Will today, though. A great, keen observation. If y'all didn't catch it, it was really good. Anybody else? Anything at all? I'm here to serve. Bye. Have a good one. Enjoy your vacation, Gail. Thank you, Annette. All hearts and minds clear? All right. Don't forget, we got that new fun thing with Sandy and Charles. This is going to be the final time. Not that we'll work with them, just we're saying it's the final time. They're going to do it this time. I'm believing. We'll be going public, coaching them in the group publicly each week, sharing exactly what they're doing. We're having them do the very same thing I did that I journaled years ago, 44 pounds in less than 6 weeks gone. So went on to lose 100 in less than 6 months, and they're going to do the same thing. Telling the truth in advance. So tune into that. We got a great class lineup next week. There's a lot going on. Tell your friends about it. If you haven't become a partner or haven't become a Faithfully Fit member, please consider. We need you. We need you. Karen, that's a good question. Lisa may not have yet, but we will. Oh, Sandy said it is set up. Lisa's on it. I got a good team. I often catch myself going, they may not have had time because I know I couldn't have done it that fast. And then they're like, we didn't done that. They're awesome. And she just posted the link. Yep.
I got my 24-day jumpstart kit ordered yesterday.
Oh, great, great. I can't wait till y'all get started, and we're going to eat some grilled cheese sandwiches and peanut butter sandwiches, and then we're going to build a menu that you'll have for the rest of your life. It's going to be awesome. Anyone else? Hey, Christy, can I explain Faithfully Fit and Partners? I can. So we've got within our lifestyle, it's a big old website. One of the ways that we have, so that we can help direct traffic within Shibboleth, if you go to the top and you go to the dashboard, you'll see the different dashboards. You've got Fast Track. That's where we want you to start. Journey, Tiger's Eye. Actually, we should have Partner here first, but the order's out of alignment. But our program consists of Fast Track, Journey, and Tiger's Eye. That's what it consists of. If we're wanting advanced in the deep dive and lifetime memberships, former lifetime memberships, I'll have access to these three. And then in the partner section, and Faithfully Fit members are just partners. They're the partners who are contributing the most to make sure that Shibboleth continues forward. Without our partners and Faithfully Fit members, we can't do it. And we have added lots of perks, and there's more perks coming. Faithfully Partners is $10 a month and up. Faithfully Fit members, $50 a month and up. Faithfully Fit members get everything. So when you look down here, these are the things we keep building a suite of things for them. And you've got like advanced classes. These are all the advanced classes and courses that we've done since we started. Lots of content, thousands of dollars worth of content. And then you've got the partners. We got the partner section, and we're also adding a suite of features for the partners. So there's some older partner deep dives before we have Faithfully Fit members, but there's just a lot of valuable content here. So that's pretty much the deal. So we keep low barrier to entry so that we might help people, and they know it's about helping people first and foremost and not about capitalism. And then when people get the unction to, they feel the leadership of the Holy Spirit and want to partner with us. We ask them to partner because they feel led to help us in our mission, not for the perks, but we love to be a giving company, and we want to make sure that our partners and Faithfully Fit members feel extremely valued. We do live sessions with them each week. Why are they now saying allulose is good for you? I haven't read up on allulose since it first come into the market. I can do a deep dive for you. I'll have to look into why it's good. The reason I know it to be good is it helps us control insulin. So allulose is a sweetener, and it does help us control insulin. Last I read and last I experienced myself, if you consume too much allulose, it wreaks havoc on my digestive system. So I'd have to go and look and see why they're saying it's good for us. I just know I don't feel good when I have too much allulose. But I will do a deeper dive and look into that. It is a suitable ingredient up to now for those of us trying to control insulin. A lot of the bars and things like that now have it in there. Don't forget, thank you, Cindy. Don't forget our Shibboleth community. We have our own community. I do need to point that out more. It works and operates a lot like Facebook, but it's all positive content. If you go to the website and click community, you'll see an amazing, robust community there that looks like Facebook without the garbage. So the more people we can get to interact there, the better we can control those thoughts that we've been talking about in the deep dive. Anything else? Thank you, Christy's done really good. Great job. Christy lost 45 pounds in 3 months. Yeah, and I'll show you that tab real quick. I'm glad she's doing it. I put so much into that with our developer, and then I don't even talk about it. I need to start talking about it. We've got this amazing community here. It's awesome. And again, you're making posts. There's all kind of features up here, your Q&As, private questions to our team. You got videos, groups, friends, photos, your blog, your goals, recipes. It's cool. Yeah. Anybody else? And you can share it to Facebook. One of the things that's good, if you post there before posting to Facebook and share it to Facebook, share your post. It's the same post basically, but people will click it and find our website. Just FYI. I need to start, instead of posting on Facebook, post in my community, share it to Facebook. I'll get more traffic.
Can we get to the community page only on the desktop or?
You
I mean-
should be able to get to it on the phone,
Okay.
because it is a mobile friendly website. So,
Okay.
but I'll check that. I think you can get
I
to
just
it.
hadn't found it, but I'll look a little better.
Good observation. Because most people do use their phones. Anybody else? All hearts and minds clear? All right. I hope y'all have a beautiful Saturday. Keep praying for us. We'll be praying for you. And remember to remain in perfect peace. Are y'all all in perfect peace? No? You want to talk about it? No? Okay. I'm here if you need me. We want to remain in perfect peace. Just know this. I'll throw this in for some of you. It's been going through the partner stuff and we've been tackling thoughts, feelings, and emotions. If you look at all thoughts, all lies, all the time, and all those thoughts are little demons, right? As you address those demons and you bring every thought, every imagination captive and bring it under the obedience of Christ Jesus, you deal with them, you wrangle them out of the way, then you have to deal with the bad man. It's not abnormal after you deal with those demons that was doing the work of Satan. It's not abnormal for you, for the big man. If you've ever played a video game, you ladies probably haven't, but there's always the boss level. So you go through all the little demons, you kill them, boom, 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 you get rid of all the demons. And the last level before you can defeat the game, you got to fight the big boss, and it's almost impossible to whip him. So when you are turning the light on to those little demons, all the false ego stuff, the anger, the worry, the stress, when you turn the light on those and you think you're home free, all of a sudden the big boss shows up. Thank God there's a bigger boss than him. Let that light turn on. It's amazing. Perfect peace. Don't think. If you're not in perfect peace, whoever, I'm not talking to Cindy, it's because you're thinking. If I'm not in perfect peace, y'all need to say, Travis, quit thinking. God is a present God. He is here always. Does not judge you, just loves you. You can be in perfect peace, but you got to quit listening to the lies. When we look at our bank account and it don't tell us what we want it to tell us, is it a lie or the truth? Depends on if you're a believer. If you're a believer, then I've got some scripture to give you. No matter what the issue is, if we remain steadfast on Jesus, with Jesus, we can remain in perfect peace. Jesus was always at peace. When he went to the cross, he had to deal with that. He had to take on all suffering, and he broke out in sweats and drops of blood. He's been through everything that we all have collectively went through times 1,000 times more, and he overcame it. And the only way we can overcome is to die out to self. Everybody here, if you're struggling with obesity or food addiction or any other addiction or any other secret sin, I am telling you, I'm your fellow servant. Everybody that come through the mother In order for them to experience perfect peace, they've got to come back to the Father. I said this the other day, and boy, did I get it. I said, human beings are not good. They're not good. We're evil. The Bible says the thoughts and imaginations of our heart and our mind are wicked and evil. And the only way that we can be good and overcome evil with good is to come back to the Father. And the Father is not about our stinking thinking. That is a lack of faith. I'll let y'all pray on that and decide whether that's truth. Anybody else? There's none good but one. Is that not scripture? But we want to listen to everybody tell us we good. We're so good. I used to tell people that. I'm just going to tell them now, you're wicked. Your problem is you're wicked. I'm wicked. I need the Father. There's none good but God. It's a hard thing to admit, to look in the mirror and go, I'm wicked, and God still loves me. All of a sudden, that awareness, that's a light, and it shines on the darkness. Those of you experiencing profound stress, profound anxiety, and it causes you to eat or turn to alcohol or whatever, if you're experiencing any of that, the devil has tricked you and you think that's you. This is an adult program. So you're sneaking around and you did something that nobody knows and you're ashamed. The devil wants you to think that that's you. You're identifying with a lie. That's not you. You didn't mean to do that. Detach from it and let the light shine on it, and you'll see it was wickedness that was sown in you. You let good overcome the evil, and God is good. And you'll be good in Christ. You cannot be a good, I don't care if you're going on mission trips. A lot of people, I believe with all my heart, there are some people that do all that stuff so they feel better about themselves. Nothing wrong with doing it, as long as you know it's not you doing it. It's Christ doing it through you. You're too wicked to go do a good work like that. But Christ can do it through you. He can move you and do a good work through you. I really believe a lot of us, we get so busy bees, trying to do good works because we're trying to cover our evil without coming back to the Father. Let's come back to the Father. When you go to the fridge, I know I started again. When you go to the fridge, when you go to the pantry, quit identifying with that. Watch yourself do it, and you'll realize it's not even you doing it. It's not you doing it. I promise you, it's not you doing it. That's why you say when you get done, why did I do that? I didn't want that. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't you doing it in the first place, but you're identifying with it. This is what I do. I'm getting it. I did that. And you're thinking, I did that. I shouldn't be doing this. It's not you doing it. Stop and watch it happen. And you'll start going, I'm observing that behavior and I'm not that behavior. And you'll stop wanting to do that behavior, whether it be alcohol or food or whatever. Those of you dealing with anger, be careful of that anger. It's not you, you're identifying with an angry person. You're not an angry person. Why would you be angry when your Father owns the cattle of 1,000 hills? What do you have to be angry about? You're identifying with anger because you're making yourself a God and you're trying to control something that you can't control. That's why you're angry. You get angry at other people. You get angry at yourself. You're playing God. You don't have any control. Stop it. Let go. Let the anger go. Don't identify with the anger, no matter what happens to you. Don't identify with it because it's not you. Angry people cannot be trusted. If you're trying to lose weight and you're an angry person, you cannot be trusted to lose weight. If you're an alcoholic or not, if you've exhibited those behaviors, even though they're not you, and you're an angry person, you cannot be trusted not to go back to that addiction. When you let the anger go, God can start working in your life again. I tell y'all, here's how I lost weight. It changed my life. I was being self-destructive. Here's how I fixed that. When I spent the 2 years drinking alcohol heavy, I told y'all I fessed up. I said, here's how I dealt with that. Now I'm telling you, here's how I've dealt with my anger. I am not associated with those behaviors. Those behaviors are not me. I believed a lie. Quit arguing with your thoughts because you're arguing with a liar. Let me say that one again. Stop arguing and debating with your own thoughts because they're not your thoughts. You're arguing with a liar, and the anger will go. Anybody else? Anybody got anything they want to share about that? While we're in overtime? All right, y'all go get in perfect peace. I'll close this out with a quick prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in the earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread. Forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. All right, bye, y'all. Have a good one.